The memories that I have of when I was a kid living with my father and my mother are really beautiful memories. My father had been going to Texas and coming home. The government of the United States sent letters to Mexico, say, hey, we need hired hands. Hired hands translates into braceros. And all the men just started to say, let's go, vámonos. My mom was pregnant in 1944 with me. About 2 years after I was born, the war was over. A lot of the men were coming back home. Rather than to be chased out of the country, it's better that we go on our own. And they went back. And they ended up staying at the same house. Adobe walls and a door made out of wood and the techos made out of palms. And that's the only life that I ever knew as a kid. That was my first impression of life. And that was my whole world. My father had a brother here, Angel. He had married Herminia, and they lived in LA. She wrote to my mother and says, you should send your daughter to the United States so she could get the benefits of the United States. Since I was born in Texas, I had my birth certificate as a US citizen. And so they sent me here. They sent me at the age of 9. And ever since then, my life changed for a very different way. The first day I showed up, they have this beautiful house. It's all clean, everything's in place. And my uncle holds me and he swings me around because I'm his brother's daughter. Dear Herminia had a very hard character. I never experienced my mother hitting me or demeaning me or insulting me or anything. And here's Herminia who does only that, including with her own kids. But I was the easiest target. I was the only one washing the dishes. I was the only one vacuuming, dusting. Saturdays, I would spend my time cleaning the whole house. School days, I would maybe wash the dishes and sometimes get up a little early to clean the kitchen floor. I didn't mind the chores. I minded the treatment of Herminia towards me. The one that just really was a nightmare for me was the time Herminia hit me with a knife. But in my young mind, I don't know what to make of that punishment because my mother had never hit me. I said, okay, this is my life. This is how this woman is. I didn't have little friends over to the house with Herminia, and I was not allowed to go to a friend's house. Not that I made any friends. I think a lot of people felt sorry for me, and they just didn't approach me to invite because they knew that I would say, I have to ask the Herminia. My imaginary friend, I had to make up my own friend. I had to survive. I felt, where are these ugly thoughts coming from me? And it was like somebody saying, you know what, you stay Carmen, and I'll be another Carmen, the one that's full of hate. Because I need that friend. I need that anger. But this part of me, who I was, did not want to accept me thinking like that. It's an imaginary friend. There was no other Carmen, but there was two of me. She came to me because I needed her. I needed somebody. I had no one. And I still think of Carmen, my friend. I still think of her. She was the only friend I had, even though she was an imaginary friend. I did not have an adolescent life. Leonardo, my cousin, comes to visit. Carmelita, ¿cómo estás? Carmen, you're 15 years old. You know how to speak English. You know the ways of the United States. Soon you'll be an adult and you could be on your own and you'll have a good job with good pay. And Herminia continued, being harsh and just a bully. My father, Enrique, Angel, and Tomas. They were in Wilmington when I left Herminia's house to come to Wilmington to live with them. She would insult them also in one way or another. And they said, oh my God, Carmen's been living with this horrible woman all these years. Yeah, they rented a little house and that's where I went. And that little house was a little shack the walls falling apart, the cement coming out. And they were renting a little house for $60. And that's where I came I felt like I had been born all over again, and all that had been left behind. And I connected my life as a child, living with my parents, with this new life in Wilmington. I connected, and I wanted to disregard those 12 years. I wanted no part of that. And I went on with my life. I thought, I have a fresh start right here in this little house. A month later, I got a job, and I worked at that job for 5 years. And somehow, things looked really good for me. The suffering is the one that gives me strength. The humiliations are what makes me strong enough to talk back to somebody who tries to humiliate me. I will stand up to them like a bull. And I like that about me. My kids went to school, and I thought I have to disregard any part of how I was brought up with Herminia and do the values that my mom taught me. I've taught them to be kind and to be, compassionate. That I don't want my kids to always be afraid. I want to educate my kids. I want to value them. I want them to feel comfortable at home. I supported their interest in whatever track or art or music. My kids have all turned out really well. Home is this life that I'm living right now. The memories that I have, I guide my family by the memories of my mother. I just love life because I went through a period where life was a bitch. And I sent that bitch flying, and I said, come on, life, I'm ready to live.